Hello, hello. Oh, Donald Trump is the winter of our discontent. And if I'm this frustrated, I'm going to imagine I'm not the only one. It comes out that Donald Trump himself may have been pushing the leader of Ukraine 8 times in a single conversation to try and dig up dirt no one has even heard of on Joe Biden's son. Meanwhile, slow walking a great deal of aid that would otherwise go to Ukraine. And the Republicans are doing nothing. And it turns out that all of these things that were so scary for so long. Yes, kitten. You don't want to get subpoenaed. You don't want to lie in front of Congress. You don't want to lie to the FBI. You have to follow this rule and that rule. And it turns out, no, not entirely, no. It just matters how high up the food chain you are. And apparently if you're the president, his lawyers went into court. Donald Trump's lawyers went into court yesterday. And actually told a judge in one of the many, many cases that the president not only cannot be indicted, he cannot be investigated. The president of the United States cannot be investigated. So, the question is, seriously, is there going to come a point where he's not going to get away with doing anything he wants, being corrupt? Is there going to be a comeuppance for the orange swine? Is there some point where I don't even know? We keep thinking, well, there'll be a limit. He won't be able to, cancel the elections. He won't be able to, pick something. And lo and behold, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, I do try to be optimistic, but there are times, I pulled out the big guns. This is a soup mug I used to drink tea out of, especially on nights like this. This is not the end of our democracy. It's not. But holy cats, it feels like it sometimes in the past. He managed to not only had so much, he was also given even more. His father gave him money, but I'm saying even once he had that money, he got more, and then, he would, there's a story about how somewhere in New York City, years ago, they were giving out awards for a charity, and Donald Trump came up on stage and sat down in one of the chairs and got all the accolades and people clapping for him and all this kind of stuff. And then he left. Turned out he hadn't donated anything to the charity. He hadn't done anything to help them. He just wanted the accolades. He just gets away with doing all of this stuff. So it's just, the entitlement is just, it seems unending. But let's see what we've got here. Center of the reading. We thought that the checks and balances were stronger than they were. That doesn't mean we're going to lose all of them. I'm just saying we really did think that the checks and balances were not going to weaken this much. All right, base of the reading. Well, good, because I am feeling this is the the King of Cups. Cups come up for me as Democrats, and this Seven of Pentacles. This feels like I have been a little worried that once this particular catastrophe was over, that we wouldn't actually put the laws in place that we need to. But no, there are people keeping a running tally who are already drafting legislation, even though they know right now it won't go through. But there are definitely Democrats. There's some paperwork in Washington, D.C. that's keeping track of that. Above the reading, Pelosi, the Democrats being given the majority back in the House so that they could hold lawbreakers accountable. They could hold Trump accountable. Hello. And seriously, Nadler the other day, someone please explain to me why he didn't find Corey Lewandowski in contempt of Congress right at that moment. And Pelosi then later said she would have done it right at that moment, and he should have. Near future. Well, it's going to keep on for a while, with little hints of, oh, well, but this is outrageous, and this is potentially criminal, and this is potentially a bad thing. But we've heard it all before. Rachel Maddow keeps saying, don't listen to what they say, look at what they do. Well, it kind of, the reverse is the same. The people who are opposed to Trump and his corruption spree, ignore the talk. What do? Mueller's not even around anymore. The various entities in New York City are trying to, hang on, I need some tea. Oh, thank you. It's that kind of night. Various entities in New York City are demanding his tax returns, and then that was it. That's where the lawyers came in to court and said the president could not be investigated. And they weren't laughed directly out of court. And it just seems like, didn't somebody else, or didn't this person already try that? Didn't somebody already try that? And the court, there was argument by the Trump lawyers that these people couldn't look at them, or it was to stop the law that was passed in New York State to release state tax returns to the federal government. And then the Trump lawyers got it back into court before it could take effect. And it's just a constant level of frustration. And that's the PTSD card. That's us. And I'm here with you. Trust me. Home environment. Oh, that's interesting, because what it feels like is that people, it's the energy is condensing and into, we want to see the one thing that's really going to be the final blow, metaphorical blow. Very, very anti-violence here. But caught off in the Ace of Wands is the beginning of something, but to me it often can also mean distilling all the power into just one. But that really has punch to it. But hopes and fears. Still hoping that the government, this feels like the future. This feels like what we're hoping for. And then we're hoping that all of these court cases we keep hearing about, all of these hearings we keep hearing about, that it's going to work out. What other people see? Yep, theft. That's the thief. It can be a terrorist. It can be, and when I say terrorist, I mean domestic as well as foreign. This is not a hello, sweetheart. Kitty's passing by. this is not a racist card. I mean, this is Timothy McVeigh as much as it's, other terrorists from overseas. But this is the card of the thief. And that's just what we see every day. Sorry I keep drinking tea. I find it calms me down. And no, it's not herbal tea or anything. It's Earl Grey, but for some reason, even with that little bit of caffeine it has in it, it calms me down. All right, final outcome, follow the money. Follow the money, follow the money. That's where you get the world. That's where you win the prize, the big completion. I've explained before that the minor arcana are kind of day-to-day work, kind of cards. And then the major arcana is bigger forces, spiritual forces, where you've got what's happening is affecting a greater number of people, or it's fate stepping in, or it's a bigger thing. And the world card it's 21. It is the highest of all of the major arcana. It's the completion. It is the zenith. So following the money is where you get the zenith, and then there's weakness in the investigators and the people. They can all charge forward. I like this. We're just gonna hang out here. We're just gonna hang out here. There's a kitty. There's a kitty. Yes. All right. Is there anything that could tell us more about this? Seriously, if something happened and suddenly Trump was held accountable, and I mean, I'm not sure that, we wouldn't have to worry about the health of the country in the sense of people having heart attacks and surprise. Oh, sweetheart, it's okay. Oh, he's a sweetie. That's the card that used to be Mueller, and this feels like some of the Mueller indictments. Well, not indictments. You can't indict the sitting president, but allegations. It feels like them. Like right now, it's just this is the state of them. But there's some crafting here, and then it's suddenly ramps up. So these are two big cards of movement, here and here. So not only is it follow the money, like the tax returns, and actually it's probably more to do, and actually feels more like Trump Tower and is it Azerbaijan? I can't forget. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the places where Trump has done some shady deals overseas. So that's really going to come to fruition. But this is also the obstruction of justice, and so these are from different angles. Oh, tell us more, please tell us more. So we can sleep better at night knowing that what you put out into the universe really does come back to you. And if you are nice to people, if you're a good person, there's a chance that good things will happen to you eventually. And if you are a scoundrel, and possibly the biggest, most powerful scoundrel on the face of the earth, that you're not going to win. Not that he won the presidency. We pretty much know he didn't. Justice for Trump the man. But he has allies. He has survived. He's still on the throne because of the Republicans and Fox News. It's not just him. All that is needed for evil to exist in the world is for good men to do nothing. And I'm not sure they were good men in the first place. Absolutely sold their souls for power. Yeah, this is telling the story of how we got here. I don't know that, you probably don't need the recap. There's Kushner. Trump's the star. And standing up. The Republicans, the other candidates were too far up in their own heads. Kushner was desperate. In a desperate situation, and he was willing to do just about anything. And so Trump became president, and there's the government, and yeah, and the Republicans foolishly followed him because despite everything they said about values and integrity, and now it's not only theft and injury, it's insult to injury. Yeah, that's how we got here. So they're not telling me, cards here, they're not telling me more about what's going to happen. That's just a nice little recap. But I do like this kind of pincer move, where taxes, obstruction of justice, all this kind of fun stuff, and it will. So, do we have to? We're gonna have to wait a long time because the near future was still more of the same. The sun will shine again. This is a day in the future where the sun finally comes out. There is celebration. There is an improvement of women's rights, and the dwellers in the darkness, they are disappointed. So let's hold on to that. All right. So things are going to work out, and there are good days ahead. There are good days ahead. And some good days for people who are fighting the good fight, and bad days for people who are lying hypocrites and scoundrels and thieves and abusers and all of those kinds of people. So, but now we can put this energy away. I'm over here, petting the kitty just a little bit. Just wonderful little boo-boo energy. Just a little precious boo-boo energy here. Good boy. Yes, he is. So, I hope you are well. I hope that you're okay. Don't forget to breathe. It does make things better. And we will get through this, and there are good days ahead. So, if you're feeling frustrated, there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel hopeless, it's understandable, but don't let it get to you to a point where you can't pull yourself out of it very easily. Because talk to a friend, watch some readings of people saying, some readers who you like. What do they have to say? They're reading the collective energy, just like I am. Things can get better. Things are going to get better. All right? So for me and this little cutie over here, I wish you well. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to my patrons. All right.